Hey peeps, with this Kizu, Behavior has done their Haunted by Daylight stream where they revealed a lot of interesting things about the upcoming content to the game. And specifically today, we're going to be talking about 2v8, the next iteration of the game mode that was mostly community loved, but I was one of the few critics of the game mode that thought the game mode was quite shit, to be frank. And, actually Behavior might be bringing me back, but we'll see about that. So in the new iteration of the game mode, there are a lot of changes. And besides that, there was this great segment at the start where they outlined a lot of the issues, although I think they did downplay the queues significantly. And let me just play that clip real quick.
Yeah, so the first big one was people really wanted to play Killer in this first iteration, and it makes sense. We anticipated that to some level. It's the first time you play with a friend as a killer or play with a partner, of course. I think the extent to which that was true was far greater than we anticipated. Some players were waiting 8, 9, 10 minutes just for a match in 2v8 as Killer. Shows how awesome the experience was, but at the same time, it's not something we want players to have to.
Not a great experience.
Of course. Yes, so one of the big ways to tackle that, we figure, is to make the Survivor experience more exciting, more interesting, and that's one of the areas of focus for V2, for sure. Another thing we noticed as the event wore on, especially near the end, this idea of slugging to win became prominent. We knew that's something we want to address in V2, and we have what we believe is a pretty good solution for that. And then last but not least, this snowballing. I mean, 1v4 can snowball a little bit, but on 2v8 it was sort of exasperated.
Right.
So it could really snowball to the point where it wasn't really fun at times.
So, as you can see, a lot of the stuff Behavior mentions here was actually directly mentioned by yours truly before in my 2v8 videos. And hey, it's great to be proven correct, once again. So, basically, Behavior understands killer queues are atrocious, although we downplayed that in the stream. I don't think saying 30-minute queues was gonna make them look very good, so they said 10-minute queues instead, which still isn't great, but hey, it's not as bad. And they are going to make Survivor more fun to play. So we're going to address snowballing and slugging being problematic. We have solutions in place for both. For snowball, we know definitively already. There's a small bonus to gen speed, so it gets added after a hook that decreases as gens get done. And as for slugging, I think that's part of the active abilities, but maybe there's something else in play. There's a lot of new abilities for Survivor. So the unlockable ability we had as base kit, where if you're dead on the hook, you will be able to have self-care, and you can pick yourself up from a dying state and get haste. That is now unique for each class, so I think Guide will have the old self-care, and the other classes will have unique unlockable abilities that I think will activate also on Death Hook. There's also active abilities for survivors now, like Palace for building, so finally Bob the Builder has been added to the game. There are also AoE, I think, buffs to healing speed and repair speed on a cooldown, and if your active ability is off cooldown, you can also use it as an unbreakable. Also, Flashlight and Pallet saves are going to be finally back, which is really cool, because, a large ability for survivors to express, some kind of different gameplay besides sitting or gens is trying to go for flashy and pallet saves, like kind of interact with the killer there, and that was completely gone in 2v8 because you just stomp people on the ground. There's nothing you can do. And now that is back, because the hooks will now work as remote hooks from the anniversary, which is really cool. There's also new killers introduced, Deathslinger, Blight, and Spirit, all with their unique abilities, but Behavior realized very quickly, even before they got any feedback from the modes, is that they needed to introduce classes to Killer as well. They can't make all the killers work together really well at all, or not even really well, just at all, or if they have to come up with unique specific abilities to each killer. So instead, each killer will be able to select one of the 4 classes, just like Survivor, and just like Survivor, there are limits. You cannot have 2 of the same class in one game. So that will limit kind of the amount of different killer stuff that you will have per killer that is unique. But also that means that there's a lot more of a confined game design space that Behavior have to account for and try to balance in, which is probably overall a good thing. So there are new classes which we don't have a lot of details on. It's Shadow, one of the first classes, all about sneaking, working together with the other killer to create a surprise attack. A Brute about being just relentless and unstoppable in chases, and Forces that basically is all about preying on the weak and finishing injured survivors, and Fearmonger focuses on movement throughout the map, staying unseen and helping your teammate. Shadow sounds like just a bit of a stealthy class, like Wraiths, Ace Teachables. Brute sounds like brutal strength, enduring combined, something about that, maybe faster swing cooldown. Enforcer, I'm really not sure here. Maybe it's some kind of like rapid brutality, bloodlust thing. I have genuinely no idea there. And Fearmonger sounds like the support class for killer. So because it says focus on throughout the map, I'm staying unseen and helping your teammate. So I'm guessing that's going to be some kind of info perk that, hey, I don't know, probably Billy players would be privy to run, or maybe even Wraith. But yeah, this sounds good, and you know, might make 2v8 a little bit more bearable. I still don't think this addresses the core issue of just the micro gameplay of facing 2 killers at once. Will never be fun for Survivor. But introducing active abilities is going to make it probably a little bit more bearable. And I hope to see in the very near future iteration of 2v8 just having more active abilities in chase for survivors. Because killers obviously have their abilities, and whenever they team up, they become so relentless and unstoppable that it feels kind of awful. And having at least some bit of interaction, even if it's not super duper effective, would help the survivor experience a lot. But the things they are adding are really cool, and it seems like 2v8's next iteration might be more successful than the previous one. Of course, we'll have to see the Ascent and killer combos of Deathslinger, Blight, and Spirit with the other kills. I mean, I can already see Nurse and Blight. I don't know, Spirit and Billy. God, there are so many awful combinations here that you can concoct. And I'm sure something about the new classes will be fucked. And I'm a little sad to not see any new classes for Survivor, because they do feel very lacking. Because on Killer, you feel very unique by picking Killer, and then also you're going to have one of 4 classes. And I generally am not sure about the classes system for Killer for a little bit, because they say there's not going to be an ability for you to queue up with a killer who has the same class as you. So that is going to limit the killer pool even more for survivors, and I don't think like that's going to help the queues very much. So that seems like maybe a little bit of a foresighted decision. And finally, I still don't understand why there are so few classes of Survivor, because Survivors, unlike Killers, they have 8 players, and having the same class on like half of the team is very boring, and they need more uniqueness in this mode just added, because, you know, all of these base kit stuff is cool, but we do need more variety for Survivors to do in their loadouts, I think, because Killers have a lot of it now, and Survivors are significantly lagging behind. But I do think this is going to be a better iteration than the previous 2v8 iteration, because the previous 2v8 iteration was just unplayable for Survivors. It was just pointless to try and do anything. Unless you got a baby killer and you were playing an 8-man, I don't know. It was just kind of whatever. And as Killer, it was a lot of fun. And I'm sure this one will be a lot of fun on Killer as well. It seems that behavior, because this is a brand new game design space, are able to experiment and do radical changes more, which I like. Current DBD is like, they're very scared of doing changes to it, and that is clear. And because it's a brand new game design space, and it's temporary, and it's kind of all up in the air, they're able to do a lot more, and that shows in the fact that they are able to rapidly address feedback and implement it and do things. Because this feedback on the mode, it was all true. I talked about it extensively, and I'm very glad that behavior are following through in this. And I genuinely hope to see maybe 2v8 will be, if not, you know, genuinely amazingly fun for Survivors with Micro, because I still don't know how that could be achieved. But hey, maybe if they keep going through rapid design process, Survivor will be okay, like not terrible, and there will be fun moments, and Kill will be a lot of fun, and 2v8 will be a great time. I am very happy with this second iteration, and I have to give props to Behavior. This was a fast turnaround time for them. I think we mentioned it that this usually we have like a 6 months turnaround, which is kind of insane. And here, they've iterated on feedback rapidly. They've done on their homework, and honestly, I feel like this should be the standard for this game. This is the level of response we need. We released the thing in July. We've done extensive, really good updates on it, and now in October it's coming out. Like, that is a really good turnaround that we pretty much never see. I mean, Skull Merchant released, and then it's a year for her to get destroyed, and then it's another year until she gets reworked properly. Meanwhile, 2v8, okay, we got the iteration, boom, we got 3 months later, super updated iteration that is much better, and there's a lot of design thought built into it. I love this approach specifically that's been happening to 2v8, and that honestly, despite me being a big negative 2v8 hater, makes me excited for the next iteration, honestly, more than this one, because if they are able to rapidly build on this feedback, that means in the future they could build even more rapidly than this one, which is crazy, and I'm excited to see it. Share your thoughts down in the comments. Of course, don't be disrespectful, and I'll see you in the next one, peeps. Bye bye.